How's everyone doing? This is Jared Polak. Excited you are on this podcast. It's going to be a dynamic podcast today. What we're going to talk about is how to motivate others. How to motivate others. It's such an important topic. I mean, what would your life be like if the people you interacted with around you, your family members, or even more importantly, your team and your business, your employees, people that work with you, work for you. What if you had the ability to motivate them and do that consistently in a systematic way? I mean, what would that do for your life? How would that change your day and getting results through people? Because really, when you look at being a great leader, I mean, part of it is motivation. That's one part, and being able to get results through people. So here, let's take a look at what I've found and discovered as I've interacted with thousands of different small business leaders, usually business owners in the small business community, whether they're self-employed professionals or have a team of people. I've asked this question a lot, and this question really gave me a lot of different responses. And so what I've done is I've kind of classified what are the top 8 things that motivate people. And these top 8 things, again, there are things that fall outside of this group of 8, but these are the 8 that come up consistently over and over again when I ask this question. And some of these 8 might surprise you tremendously. Some of these are a little bit more self-evident. And so here are the 8 things that I have asked and surveyed people over the years. Really asked this question to, for sure, hundreds of different people. And this is what I found. What motivates people, these 8 things. Number 1 is a sense of belonging. A sense of belonging. And I'm going to go through and elaborate a little bit more, but let me just read the list as I kind of think it through right now. Number 2 is public recognition. Public recognition. Number 3 is private recognition. Private recognition. Number 4 is monetary reward. That's monetary reward. And I know a lot of you are taking notes, so I'm trying to go slow so you can have time to type this out. Number 5 is fear. Actually, fear motivates people. Number 6 is competition. Competition. Number 7 is significance or purpose. What motivates people is to have significance or to have purpose. And number 8 is life balance. Number 8 is life balance. So these are the 8 main things that I found, even more specifically when business owners are trying to motivate their people. These are the 8 things that became a little bit more to the forefront. And what I want to do is I want to look at the 2 things. One, the first thing that we need to do before I go down this list is we need to realize what motivates you as a leader. What motivates me? Of these 8, sometimes there's a predominant 1 or 2 or 3 items that motivate us more than other items. Not everyone is motivated by all 8 of these. Most people, there's 2 or 3 or 4 of these that really motivate them more than others. So the first thing to do is you look at this list. What motivates you? How are you motivated? Are you more motivated by a sense of belonging or being a part of a group? Or are you more motivated by competition? Are you most motivated by life balance? What motivates you? And when I really thought this through deeply, many years ago, as I thought this through, I really came out with what my top 2 were, and you know, part of me didn't like the results for what motivates me. The 2 things that motivate me, and sometimes they interchange in terms of importance, are number 1 is significance or purpose. That motivates me. I really believe in being motivated for a higher cause, a higher purpose, knowing that what I'm doing on a consistent basis is really making a difference in people's lives. And obviously that's why, I've dedicated my part of my life to serving business owners, business leaders, helping them grow, helping them achieve the results they want in business and in life. And then the second thing that motivates me is monetary reward. It's monetary reward. It is a factor that motivates me. That's one reason why I have my own business. There's no limits to how many people I can and serve and help, and so I get rewarded. I get compensated for that financially, and that does motivate me. And I do think it's not the actual money that motivates me, but what money can provide, the benefits of money. It's not necessarily just hoarding money itself. So anyway, those are the two things that motivate me. And so what I realize, and then what you need to realize, is sometimes when you figure out what motivates you, your natural response or reaction is to motivate people the exact same way that you like to get motivated. And that is a very dangerous thing, because oftentimes the people that report to you, your employees, or those that are around you, they're not motivated the same way that you're motivated. They have a different motivational bent. And so if I was trying to motivate everyone around me with monetary reward, let me just bonus people, incentivize people, I've done that, and I've tried that in different areas, and honestly, it doesn't work with the majority of people, because the majority of people are not motivated by monetary reward, although there are many people that are. And so as I look through how to motivate other people, I always want to make sure I try to motivate people the way that they want to be motivated. In essence, I try to take a step away from myself and try not to be self-centered or selfish, and try to look more at other people, what motivates them, and try to give them what they need in order to get the results that they want. I remember as we kind of go through a couple of these, let me give you a couple of examples. In terms of sense of belonging, when I was with a company called Glasso Vitamin Water many years ago, before I had my business, before I started serving the business community on my own, I worked for this company in a sales kind of management role. And I remember it was a pretty small company. I think there might have been, under 400 people at the time. And vitamin water is a very trendy. There was a sense of almost hipness to the company. I know sometimes the CEO or the president would go to the office in flip-flops every once in a while. Everything was written in lowercase letters online. Just a cool, trendy, started in the New York City area, teamed up with like local New York City artists, actually teamed up with a rapper named 50 Cent as it continued to grow. And there was this idea of the people of the company, when we went to the team meetings, there was just this sense of belonging that they were trying to impart upon the group. Like, what you're doing is special, you're doing something really neat, unique, and you're a part of this group. And I'll tell you what, many people around me were extremely motivated by the sense of belonging, the sense of being a part of a group or a team, something greater or better than them. And just being on that team really motivated them. And so oftentimes they try to do things together, fun social event, different activities. And that's really important for companies, if you have a team of people, to do events where it creates a sense of belonging. Now, although sense of belonging, I'm not anti-sense of belonging, it doesn't necessarily motivate me the way that other things do. And maybe it doesn't motivate you, but for your team, it is absolutely essential to have little outings, team building things, just going out and having fun and being a part of a group. The next thing is public recognition. Public recognition is interesting because it's just, they're the type of people that want to have the award, to win the award in front of a group. I remember in the sales industry, I've worked for, before I started my business, I've worked for several different companies, worked for a great organization in the beverage industry, and I remember if you hit your quota every month, you'd come and you kind of get a free cup So you go in front of everybody, in front of the entire sales team, and you get this free cup. And public recognition, it wasn't my top one, but I kind of liked it a bit. I liked going and being recognized. And so in terms of your team, in terms of your business, what are you doing to publicly recognize certain people? Is there an award that can get passed on in terms of, that's why they oftentimes do Employee of the Month, or just different recognition tools. This really works with sales, business development, because people that are in business development oftentimes have that bent to like to be recognized. Third is private recognition, and it's really important to distinguish the difference between public recognition and private recognition. Private recognition is, really the people that like to be privately recognized oftentimes are the opposite of the public recognition. And so what this means is sincere appreciation for a job well done. As opposed to recognizing someone in front of a group, what you'll do is you'll sit down maybe with someone on your team and recognize them and say specifically what they did well and that you noticed and you recognize that. The other really transformational idea of how to implement private recognition is handwritten notes or handwritten cards. I'll tell you what, for some people, getting a handwritten personal card is something that they cherish and they'll keep for a long time. So if you want to recognize someone, you want to motivate someone, hey, write them a handwritten card. This is really good for your clients and for your team. Fourth, I should say, is monetary reward. And this is in some ways self-evident. If someone produces, you want to motivate them with incentives or bonuses. Maybe include some type of gifts in there that are linked into the monetary reward. So reward for a job well done. A lot of business owners, because a lot of people that have their own business oftentimes are motivated by monetary rewards. They'll link success of the company and the success of each individual leader within that company, and they'll have some sort of bonus structure in place. And it's a really good thing for businesses to do that, as well as, some people that aren't necessarily motivated by monetary reward. It's still good, but don't take it to the extreme with everybody to think that that's really what's going to motivate everyone, because it's just not true. And that's really one of the biggest surprises or shocks or secrets that I didn't know, is not everyone is motivated by monetary reward. And oftentimes some people will say they are, but they're really not. But anyway, monetary reward does have its place. The next thing that motivates people is fear. And this kind of causes a little bit of an uncomfortableness, because you don't really want people to be motivated by fear, and you really wish that you could change that, but the reality is some people are motivated by a sense of fear. And it's not really good when you have employees that live their life motivated by fear, and you definitely want to help change and change that out a bit. But oftentimes with companies, especially when it's with companies that have maybe an employee force where you're not paying top dollar for that skill set, sometimes people are motivated by the fact that if they don't show up, they're not gonna keep their job. They're motivated that if they don't show up on time, or maybe they're not necessarily motivated to receive that recognition, but it's that fear of, hey, if I don't show up, I'm gonna get canned. If I don't do my job, I'm gonna lose my job, and I'm gonna lose my apartment or house or whatever. And so you have to be careful on how you motivate with fear, but at the same time you have to let people know that that you have certain expectations, and not doing it in like a terror way, but there has to be some type of fear instilled in certain people in certain positions. Again, this is probably the one that I feel the most uncomfortable with, because I motivate by everything positive, and I'm not really great at motivating by fear, but unfortunately sometimes in certain situations that is a necessary tool. The other thing to think about would be, as opposed to someone being motivated by public recognition, they actually have a fear. The fear is that they're not in front of the group. So as opposed to being a positive bent of, oh, I can't wait to get in front of the group and be recognized publicly, they're afraid, oh my gosh, how embarrassing that would be if I'm not in front of the group. So it's almost like a negative look. And so some of these other goals like public recognition or private recognition or monetary reward, it's really, they're not motivated to receive it, but they're motivated by the fear of not receiving it. That's a little bit of a higher level thought, and again, I probably didn't quite do it as much justice as I would like on this podcast, and maybe in a future one I can go a little bit more into the psychology of that, which is very interesting. But I'm going to just stop with that right now and go to the next one, which is competition. Competition is great. Some people love sports, high school sports. They love competing with other people around them. It causes them to take it to the next level in business and in life. When you're working out, you have a workout partner. You don't want to be the person that isn't doing the reps, isn't running the race, isn't lifting the weights. It's a good, healthy thing. Many people are motivated by competition. And so in your company, if you can create healthy competitions within people, do it in a way where there's still a spirit of ultimately trying to get the goal done. But a healthy competition between divisions and individuals, it's sometimes a really, really good thing. Next is significance or purpose. Knowing that there is something deeper, a deeper meaning in terms of why they're doing what they're doing. All the time, when you're looking at leadership and you're looking at nonprofits, almost every nonprofit motivates their volunteers by the significance or the purpose. That's part of how they motivate people, because people volunteer. Or if you work for an organization where you can't pay at the top dollar, and this is important whether you can pay or not, but sometimes you have to motivate people from significance or purpose. Okay, why are we doing what we're doing? What's the deeper cause or reason? I'm extremely motivated by significance or purpose, and I know there's a lot of things I can do in life where I would make a lot more money, or at least it'd be a lot easier to make more money, but I love helping people. I love serving people, whether people call me a coach or advisor, or I just help people win. I'm motivated by money, but it's not just that. It's what can money give someone. I'm motivated to help people double the size of their business. I want to do that. I want to have people double their financial take home so they can do things in life that they never dreamed of. That motivates me, and that motivates me to help other people achieve that too. So significance or purpose. What's the higher purpose of your company? And even if you're selling things that maybe you feel like are a little bit more of commodities, you can create significance or purpose within your company regardless of what you're doing. There's something honorable about many different professions. So think about what you provide, what's your service, and what is the significance or purpose behind it, and how can you consistently communicate that and maybe motivate people in that way. Finally, and definitely not last, is this idea of life balance. I'll tell you what, there's studies that have been done over and over again about the millennial generation, the newer generation of people entering the workforce, and having a life balance is absolutely high priority to motivate this group of people. And as a company and in the business community, we can either stand in the dark, or we can figure out a way to help meet that need that the people are having to have some type of life balance. And so what does that look like? What are you doing as a company to give people an opportunity to shut off the computer, shut off the BlackBerry at a certain time at night? Now, there's obviously going to be times where you need to push people to work hard, but there's got to be some sense of life balance. And as we grow, as we get longer into people coming out of college, there is an increased desire, an increased motivation for life balance. And as companies, as leaders and owners of companies, if you don't have this figured out, you're not going to be able to move forward. So that's really sort of a little recap of all the different motivational things. First and foremost, we have to know what motivates us. We have to know what motivates us. And then as we motivate other people, our natural inclination is going to be to motivate people the way that we want to be motivated, and that's not always the best thing. And so look through these 8 different areas, and if you master these 8 different motivational styles, these things that motivate people, and you consistently implement them with your team, you're going to have a motivated team that's going to stay at a high level of performance for a long period of time. So anyway, I hope this helps. I know it's really had a huge impact on my life. Both not only I've talked a lot about work, but also in relationships. This is very good as well. And also, if you ever have internal motivational problems, go back to your motivational style and realize, are you receiving this in terms of your day-to-day action? Again, this is Jared Polak. Go out, take action on this, make it happen, and have a fun and fantastic day.